welcome everyone to Tooth Point Python basic class. Okay, firstly, before we start, let us first answer a question of what is Python. Since this channel is all about Python, we're just going to learn the basics of Python. Basically, this is where we're going to start from. So first, let us know what is Python, the terminology of Python. Okay, so basically Python is a programming language. Okay, a programming language just like any other programming language out there. So Python was first developed by Guido van Rossum. I don't know whether I got the name right though. In the late 80s and early 90s at the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. It was then released in the year 1991. So that is a little history, or a brief history about Python. Okay, so now what we're going to learn basically in this tutorial, we're going to learn things like Python list, functions, dictionary and structural data, control flow, Python OOP, that is object-oriented programming. That is, if you have a background with Java, yeah, you know what is OOP, object-oriented programming. So we're going to learn Python object-oriented programming, and also we'll talk about strings, to variables. We're going to learn reading and writing files, the use of regular expressions, and then I'm organizing files, and I'm working with Excel. Oh, that must be a mistake. Python OOP. Sorry. Okay, now I'm working with CSV files and JSON data. So now, what is Python and what can Python do? Okay, somebody will ask, yeah, I'm to learn Python, but what can Python do? Before you go into something, you need to know the uses before basically you start. So first, Python can be used on a server to create web applications. Python can be used alongside software to create workflows. Python can connect to database systems. It can also read and modify files. Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. Yeah, you got that right, complex mathematics. Okay, Python can be used for rapid prototyping or for production ready software development. Okay, and these things are just to mention but a few. Python has a lot of uses. Okay, you can even use Python to automate some stuff, or let me say some daily stuff you do on your laptop. You can use Python to automate those stuff, which we are going to get into later on in the course. Okay, so now, why Python? Why Python? Okay, so first of all, Python works on different platforms. Okay, it has the support of different platforms like Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi, and etc, etc, etc. Okay, so Python has a simple syntax similar to the English language. So when you go into the Python code, one way or the other, the syntax is actually easy, like speaking. Okay, similar to the language. If this is this, else that. If not, then this. Okay, while doing this, keep on doing. You see, like it follows, like this example I'm giving is more or less like the control flow, right? Like the looping system. Okay, but it's just example though. But basically, Python is just like speaking English. And Python has syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than some other programming language. Okay, so another reason I would advise people to learn Python is the syntax. Okay, to write codes, you can actually write fewer lines of code to achieve the same thing that's in some other language, like let's say Java. You're going to write a whole lot of codes to achieve one simple thing. Okay, so Python has fewer lines, and Python runs on an interpreter system, meaning that the code can be executed as soon as it is written. Okay, so Python can be treated in a procedural way, an object-oriented way, or a functional way. As I mentioned, we're going to learn the OOP. Okay, the OOP, object-oriented programming. Okay, so like procedural, that is one benefit of Python. Okay, and aside all of these, one major reason why it is also good to go into Python, that it has a huge environment, like platforms, people that are ready to answer you. Okay, it has a lot of people into Python, so in case you meet a roadblock or an obstacle of something, you can raise your question online and you get somebody to help you with the answer. Okay, so points to note: the most recent major version of Python is Python 3. So we'll be using it in this our tutorial. Okay, so in this tutorial Python, the Python will be written in an integrated development environment, IDE. So example of an IDE, we have the Thorny, the Pycharm, Eclipse, and so on and so forth. So in this tutorial, we're going to use the Pycharm, to be precise, in this tutorial. Okay, now getting started. Now to install Python, we will go to this website. We go to www.python.org/downloads. Okay, so now let's jump into it. Okay, first you need to go to www.python.org/downloads. So I'm going to put the link, okay, into the description below. So first we click on this button, okay, this button, download Python 3.9.7, the latest version. Okay, so you click on this button and then it's going to download Python down here. Okay, so after downloading we will have to install. So to install, you need to click on the installer. Okay, for a minute. Okay, so here, install now. So you click on this, and now first go down here and choose, make sure this one is ticked. Okay, add Python 3.9 to path. Okay, make sure this thing is ticked, and then go to install now, and now follow the prompt. Go. Okay, so when you see this window, setup was successful, yeah, it says that Python has been installed successfully, okay, on your system. So you can just close the window. So you have Python. Okay, you have Python. Now the next thing to install will be Pycharm. Okay, since we will be using Pycharm in this tutorial, we'll have to install Pycharm. Okay, so you go to the website. I'll put the link into the description. Okay, so don't worry about the link. You go to Pycharm, and they have two versions. They have the professional and the community. So you choose the community version, okay, because this one is free, and the community version is for pure Python development. Okay, and the professional version, it has in addition for web development with HTML and CSS and all that. Okay, but The difference is the professional, you have to pay. Okay, you have to pay, but the community is for free. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to use the community. So you just download the community, click on this button to download it. Okay, so just click on it to download it. After downloading, you go to your downloads. So it's somewhere here. You can say it's Pycharm community. Now let's install. So basically you just have to follow the prompt. Okay, so here always remember to add what do you call it, add Pycharm to the path, the Python path, or sorry, the path of your computer. Always remember to add it to your path. Okay, okay, and then install. Very good. After installing your Python and installing your Pycharm, the next thing to go for is our next project, sorry, our first project. Okay, so we're gonna go to what do you call it, comparison of hello world in Java and that of Python. Okay, so we're going to compare hello world to see. As I told you before, the Python syntax is fewer codes as compared to other programming languages. Okay, so the example here is Java. You could see that Java, you need 3 lines of codes, okay, just to print out hello world. But with Python, you just go print hello world and it prints. Okay, so that is one of the magic with Python. Okay, so now we're going to check whether we have Python on our system. Since we installed it, it's good to check if it's there. It's actually there. Okay, so let's get into it. So to get into it, let's get to our command prompt of our computer. So we get to just go down there, just type cmd, okay. So when your cmd comes up, now we are going to check whether we have Python installed on our system. Okay, let me make it bigger so that we can see it. Okay, so now to check it, what we're going to do is we're going to type Python. Just type Python. Now the Python version and some other information will come out. Okay, this is to tell you that Python is installed on your system. Okay, so now let us try to print hello world, our first project. Okay, so you just type print world. Okay, after you type hello world, hit enter. Boom. Okay, so now we have successfully executed our first project, hello world. Okay, so that is some of the magic of Python. It's quite easy and it's quite simple, okay, as compared to some languages like Java, for instance. We will have to type all of these in order to just print out hello world. But with Python, we just go print hello world and then it prints hello world. Simple as that. Okay, so we have successfully completed our first project. Okay, so now after testing that we have Python, now let's talk about the Python IDLE, meaning Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Okay, it's more or less like the IDE. Okay, but just the IDE, they have more they are more advanced. Like they can tell you when you make a mistake or an error and all that. Okay, and some of them can even complete your typing for you. Okay, so now let's talk about the Python IDLE. Python IDLE. So now, if you could remember, when we entered the CMD and typed Python, something like this popped up. Okay, something right like this, Python 3. We had Python 3.9.7, right? Good. So something like this. So in a sense, when we entered the CMD, we actually called upon the Python IDLE. Okay, that is what we did. Okay, so that is the Python IDLE, but you don't always have to get to the IDLE through the command prompt. Okay, there is a more better way to get to the IDLE. So now let's do this. Okay, so first you go to the what do you call it, your taskbar, and then click on the search icon and just type IDLE. Okay, so the Python IDLE will pop up, and just click on it. And you get this beautiful output. Okay, so this is the Python IDLE shell, okay, which we are going to use. We are also going to use this in addition to the Pycharm in this tutorial. Okay, so this is the Python IDLE. Okay, so now let's go to how to find help. Okay, so with the Python, okay, as I told you, it has a huge supporting environment, people that are out there to help you when you come across an obstacle, okay, or you meet a roadblock. And also a simple Google search can also give you what you are looking for. Okay, so now let us intentionally cause an error, and then let's see how to find help in regards to the particular error. Okay, so we are still going to use our IDLE, but here we're going to use the IDLE in the command prompt. Okay, so here Stack Overflow is also one place to go for help. That is, you need to ask your question in a suitable way for somebody to understand your question in order to help you. Okay, but we'll get into that later. So first of all, let's go to our CMD. Okay, so we are back to the Python IDLE in our CMD. Okay, in our CMD. So let us cause an error on purpose. Okay, so maybe we just maybe do some addition. Okay, some addition. Also, you can use Python for mathematics. Okay, so we go maybe 42 plus 42 plus 2. Okay, this one is 44, right? So it's correct, 44. Now let's cause an error. Okay, let's cause an error. We go maybe 42 plus 2. Okay, so this gives an error. It says type error, can only concatenate string, not int. Okay, to string. Don't worry, you don't need to know what this thing means now. Later we'll get into that. Okay, we'll get into that, but we just we are just trying to cause this error and see how to maybe solve it. Okay, so here what they are saying here, if you understand this, then you quickly solve this error without going anywhere. But don't worry, we are going to understand this type error later. Okay, so here what we are going to do is we are going to copy this error. So a simple Google search could get you your answer. Okay, so what we are doing here is to copy this type error, which we've copied already, this type error. Now we go to google.com. So this error is an error we caused on purpose. Okay, so let's see if we can get the answer online. Okay, so just Google search and paste your question. Okay, and now search. Okay, so as we can see here, it has already been answered. You see, you can see it here, how to resolve blah 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 blah. Okay, type error, can only concatenate blah 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 blah. You see, so the answers are already there, which means somebody somewhere also had a similar problem, okay, and got a solution to it. So the answers are there. So a simple Google search could get you your answers. Okay, and also in programming, errors are okay. They are very much okay. Even the most skillful programmers still come across errors. Okay, so knowing how to solve your errors are kind of good. It's also a programming skill you need to know. Okay, how to tackle errors. Okay, so and before I go, you can also get solution or answers to your problems on this website. Okay, this particular website. So it's either stackoverflow.com or this one, reddit.com. But the catch with these two websites is you have to know how to ask the question. Okay, so before you ask a question, maybe you should read their document on frequently asked questions, okay, to know how to ask questions, okay, on these websites. Okay, and there is also GitHub. Okay, so there are ways. Basically, what I'm saying is there are a lot of ways to get your answer online. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this introduction video of our Python basic class. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.